Hey, you've just stepped into the Caring Corner, where life's caregiving challenges meet a whole lot of heart and a dash of sass. I'm Michelle O'Neill, and I'm here to serve up insights, inspiration, and real life tools to help you navigate caring for your kids and aging loved ones without forgetting about you. Expect everything from time management hacks and emotional wellness strategies to technology tips sprinkled with humor and tenacity. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Hey, welcome back to the Caring Corner, the podcast for our incredibly brave and loving double duty caregivers. Have you ever felt that your life resembles, well, a spinning wheel? From board meetings to grocery shopping to football practice, soccer practice, volleyball practice, and hospital visits, and the chaos never seems to end. And amidst all this whirlwind, how do we ensure that, well, we're not missing those quiet signals that our aging loved ones might be sending up? That's the deep dive that we're talking about today. And you're not going to want to miss this. So, well, let's jump right on in and get raw and real today. Well, we all experience emotions, and sometimes too many all at once, right? Have you ever found yourself worried sick about nailing that presentation at work while your teenager decides to make the drama dial go up to 100? And that's just Tuesday, right? Well, I've got a reality check for you, my friends. If you're caught up in just getting through your daily routine, could you be maybe overlooking your aging parents? Have you seemed to notice that maybe they're a little more distant or quieter when you visit? Oh, yeah. This is where you want to hit the pause button, sit down with them, and connect. What's going on in their world? You might be surprised by how much that they're shouldering in silence. And trust me, tuning in can make all the difference in the world. Your attentiveness can be that warm hug that they need, but don't know how to ask for. We have to remember that for years, they have shouldered the responsibility as a parent, and they're so used to being there for when you need them. And the ability or the thought of turning that over to you seems insurmountable and not how the things should go. So, well, all right, let's shift gears a little. What about those days when, well, you're darting from your office desk to the kitchen table to the vet office? And that's if you're working from home. Think of how much more it is when you have to go out and you have that commute as well. You're the nucleus of life management. Yet we're forgetting that some key performers in this act of life, and that, my friend, is our aging parents. So now picture this. You're wrestling through your to-dos and you call your mom to check in. I love calling my mother at least once a day. Hey, mom, what's going on? What you eat today? Or whatever it is. But I love just hearing her voice and knowing she's okay. And she says, I'm fine. But she forgets to mention that she's missed her medications twice that week. Or maybe dad seems less energetic, but just shrugs it off. I'm a little tired today. And you're like, oh, well, he's getting older. You get tired. Ladies, these aren't just signs, but they're sirens. They're red flags going, woo, woo, woo. And they are things that you can't afford to miss. It's time to include them in your tug of war, not just as a sideline, not just as a thought, but as an essential pull to keep the balance in your ever stretching life. Look, I know we're grappling with the chaos of juggling the teenagers, work pressures, spousal expectations, just absolutely everything. But let's not forget our parents in this whirlwind. We're often guilty of thinking, oh, they're just getting older. They forget things. But listen up. That forgetfulness could be a siren screaming for your attention. Or it could be something that I've just recently found out that can be fixed or at least stopped. I have to share this tidbit with you before I go on. Do you know that sometimes they're not being or seeming that they're cognitive can be just a hearing issue? And do you know that the longer we let that hearing issue go on, their cognitive issues become greater? I remember going to an audiologist with my mom recently, and he was even able to tell us just how much cognitive ability she had lost. And he said, if we get her a hearing aid at this stage, she won't lose more, at least not from her hearing. And so knowing those tidbits, going to appointments with them. And so now back to an example that I'd like to share with you about a friend of mine. You know, I don't even care. I don't want to share her name because it's personal, but her dad started missing medical appointments. And they initially just shrugged it off. Hey, he didn't put it on his calendar, or hey, he's older. You know, you forget these things. Maybe I'll put it on my calendar. But a few months later, it turned out that he was actually in the early stages of Alzheimer's. She wished that they had actually paid attention to those earlier signs, or at least checked them out. The red flags aren't just medical, they could be emotional too. And if mom is suddenly less interested in her book club, in her dancing, in whatever it was that she loved to do, or if dad is no longer excited about maybe his gardening, his yard work, when all that used to be really important to him, do you realize that a drastic change in hobbies or social engagement could be the way of saying help without uttering a single word? You know, just tune in, be present, and ask those hard questions, even if they make you or them uncomfortable. And always, 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 can I say always one more time? Trust your gut. You know, we all love a good hack, right? And so I want to share something that I think you can bring this up into the 21st century. And it's this digital age and some incredible apps and gadgets that can lighten your caregiving load. You know, me, I'm a tech junkie. And anytime I can bring tech into the equation, this girl is there. So trust me when I say that the right app can be an absolute lifesaver. And whether it's a medication reminder for your parents or a family calendar that everyone can access, technology is here to help you. Nothing to be feared if used correctly and taught correctly. And what I'd like to do is I'll share my type picks in our weekly emails. So make sure that you subscribe. So as I begin to share these and these reviews and maybe how to use them, you'll get that. Look, I get it. You're swamped. And one more thing, between balancing quarterly reports, picking up your teenager from whatever practice they have, and then coming home to cook dinner, your plate is not just full, It's absolutely overflowing. And adding yet just one other thing, well, it sounds insane, right? But hear me out. Look, a Harvard study actually reveals that people who actively manage their commitments and schedules experience a 40% reduction in stress. And who doesn't want to have 40% reduction in stress? 40%. Can you imagine what that would feel like? Con- Consider using a family management app. Now, these apps can be an absolute lifesaver. They allow you to share responsibilities with your spouse, with your siblings, or anyone else involved in your loved one's care. You can schedule dad's medical appointments, add reminders for mom's medication, and even track your teenager's school events all in one place. I had a client and me who do just this. And she told me it felt like lifting 2 tons of weight off of her shoulders. She had more room to breathe, to live, and to be. And remember, caregiving isn't a one woman show. Involve your siblings or your family members. The friend I mentioned earlier started to share Google Family for her family after her dad's diagnosis. The difference was night and day. They could all see when dad had his next doctor's appointment, and they started rotating responsibilities. She felt supported, and her dad felt cared for. So you see, these aren't just tasks. These are lifelines. These are avenues of love and modes of connection. I would encourage you to take the step today. And trust me, it is a game changer. But before we wrap up, I want to share something special with you. I want to share a personal story that shows just how, amidst the struggles of family life, there can be golden moments that remind me why I do what I do. Just recently, I saw a post from my grandson. And on that post, he wore a shirt, and he had on that shirt the memory of one of his great-grandparents that had passed. He had the beginning of their life and the end of the life. And he shared his love for his great-grandparent. And I want to remind you, as you deal with your teenager who's going through their changes, and your aging parents who are going through theirs, don't hide that side of life. Allow them to experience the natural progression of life. Allow your teenager to share in your challenges, but also in your wins. Allow them the space to create memories. And in doing that, they are living out the legacy of our loved ones. You know, not only does my grandson show his love for his great-grandparents and how he lives out his life, and how it spurs him on to do things in memory of them because that's what they would love. I also do that in memory of my grandmother. You know, I was there through the last days of her life. She lived in the home with us, and I shared in that caregiving journey with my mom and father as they took care of my grandmother. They didn't hide that side of life with me. And with me, I remember from that time on, I remember so much about the person my grandmother was and how she loved. These golden moments didn't make the challenges disappear. They didn't take away the sadness and the frustration, but they do make them worth facing. So hold on to these golden moments because they're the nuggets of joy that can sustain you on this journey. So today we've actually unpacked a lot, haven't we? We've delved into the emotional and situational signs that indicate that we're stepping into this caregiving role. And I've shared tools for reclaiming your space amidst this chaos and discussed the subtle red flags that your aging parents and loved ones may be showing. This is your life in all its chaotic glory, and you don't have to navigate it alone. If you found today's discussion valuable, and well, you're hungry for more, you'll definitely want to catch our Facebook live sessions as well on Mondays at 11:15. And sometimes, even though I can't be there live, I have a special session for that Monday. Think of them as the appetizer to this hearty meal of this podcast. It's a space for us to chat, share some quick tips, and maybe even laugh a little, because heaven knows we could all use good laughter. Until next time, thank you for being here with me on the Caring Corner, and I invite you to subscribe and like and leave a review so that we can begin and continue to share this with you and others who are on this dynamic caregiving journey. Until next time, this is Michelle O'Neill, and I don't even know if I told you who I was in the beginning, but I am Michelle O'Neill, and I am so honored to be here with you today. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, that's a wrap for today at the Caring Corner. We've tackled some big topics, but remember, you're not in this alone. Subscribe to keep the wisdom and warmth coming, and stay tuned for amazing guests who'll be joining us to help round out your caregiving toolkit. Catch you next time, and keep conquering those challenges.